Aloha, guys. Happy Aloha Monday. Hey, every day should be Aloha, whatever. Aloha Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, you know how it goes. So, all dogs have their treats. So, we've got a couple minutes till all the barking starts again. I swear they are so quiet until I hit the button to go live, and then they're out of control at that point. But aloha. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. I did. We are set for the Super Bowl. So everyone's gonna have to start letting us know in chats and all. Which team are you? And we had fun. We actually went to a pizza joint yesterday that's a sports bar to watch it and all that. But who do we have in chat real quick while YouTube and Facebook and everyone is getting all their notifications out? Let's do some real quick hey there, hi there's to everyone, and then we will dive into Ella's case because, guys, this case here, Ella's case, guys, what is frustrating me right now is this. We've talked about online safety and things like that. This is a case of a family that really honestly has done everything that they could have done. I mean, as I was pulling notes together on this, every single thing, if you remember back when Sleuth Burden and I did the whole online safety thing, PJ and all that, we talked about online safety, about all these websites and stuff like that. And this family did everything. Mom did everything. But like most of you guys who are parents know, kids have a way of working their way around things. And here we are. So we're going to get into our story, but first we had Miss Cristola was first in chat, and I need to turn on the AC because it's getting warm in here. And also, hey, Cristola, and Cristola needs to go get her Bible verse on her community tab. You got it, girl. I always, every day I go to Cristola's channel just to check out the verse. That's how I end my whole day, is checking out that verse. Who else we got here? We have Sleuth saying hey there to Cristola and me. Hey, Sleuth, how you doing, my dear? Hopefully this week's a little calmer for you. I hope life get back to normal and all. And Chris and I, in fact, Chris and I talked a little bit about this case a few minutes ago. We were kind of going back and forth with thoughts. And who else? KK's here. Hey, KK, how you doing, my dear? Sorry, I got coffee cup number 2. I am definitely, I need caffeine today. So Roberta is in the house. Hello, Miss Roberta. And Click and Go Boots, Click and Go, all of you guys. The comments that people have been leaving me recently, especially about that YouTuber, the whatever bit, Click and Go, your comments, I saw them last night and I haven't replied back to you yet on the board, but thank you. Thank you a lot for that. Who else we got here? Chris. Yeah, Sleuth always has. In fact, there was another case I almost covered that she also covered. There's some really, the problem is there's only a couple of us out there covering these cases. And also, the more of us who can do that, the better off, because we can get, because right now, guys, Ella is out there. Ella is out there right now somewhere. This is pretty much the West Coast, but gang, she could be anywhere, could be the West Coast. She could actually not even be on the West Coast at this point. We don't know. That's why this case, these are the cases that are important for us to share as wide and as far as we can get. I mean, this is literally a case where she could be in Hawaii for all I know. I mean, you catch a flight to Hawaii and she could be here. We don't know, so we need to get it out everywhere. Hello, Miss Tammy. How you doing? Um, how you doing, my dear? I hope you're having a good day. And there's Seal. And you've read them, but you're not sure. Okay, I wasn't sure if you covered them or not. There was another one. Who was it that I almost covered today? And I saw you had covered them also. And I think it was, oh, I forget who it was now. There's also a really interesting case out of the Philippines right now that I was looking at. Just really, oh, you sent, oh, okay, Jesse. Yeah. There's so many that just need shared. They need shared right now. So let's see here. We've got notifications out. So let's start up for 27 freaking degree. I'll take Hawaii. What is it right now here? Let's see. What is the temperature here in Hawaii? Okay, I'll shut up. It's 85 right now. I'll shut up. I promise. No more talking about. Okay, yeah. It's been humid though, where it's really cloudy, really rainy. God forbid if our power goes out again, but yeah. You can have the 27 degrees. You can totally have the 27 degrees right now, girl. So first of all, the gorgeous, okay, young woman up here in this corner. This is Ella. Okay, Ella is, I mean, oh my gosh, she looks like so many of the teenage stars that you see in different TV shows and stuff like that. There's a couple different names that I keep seeing them in her. And and like I said, this is that case of how many parents they research, they try to find out all these things. Oh my God, Cristola, you don't have the N2 times speed. It's dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous. And also, um, they did everything. Okay. Knew about some of the different websites. Okay. They had put in parental controls. They had done all these things. But like every one of us when we were teens, we find ways to get around things, especially when our emotions are connected to things. And that's kind of where this story starts off. Let me real quickly bring this up so we can kind of go over more detailed information about Ella. So, Ella actually went missing almost 3 weeks ago. In fact, actually 3 weeks ago, on January 5th, overnight between, okay, Friday, Saturday, sometime during the night. Um, she is from Mount Vernon, Washington. And right now, I can tell you the family is trying to spread this info as far as they can, especially on the West Coast. They are getting information to Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, all the way up to actually the border, okay, into California and stuff like that, because she could be anywhere along that area. And like I said, she could actually be further east. She could be over my direction. I mean, the pictures of her are what's important right now because it's a family. Her family is, her mom is fighting tooth and nail to keep her name out there and to tell her story everywhere she can. She's got an 8-year-old brother who is missing her. Okay, she's got friends. Her friends have all gotten involved in this. They've been telling her story in the way that they can, whether it's on social media, going to Ella's mom and saying, yeah, these are the things that we noticed before she went missing. They have gotten involved also. She's got a whole network of people who love and care about her and want to see her come home. And she is 14, 5'5" and 125 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. And the one thing I am going to mention here is her dimples. Okay, she's got very, very distinct dimples on her face. We all look. KK will tell you. Okay, the KK disclaimer. Okay, hair can change colors. Okay, links. Tattoos can be covered up. Okay, all those things can happen, but she has dimples that are going to be seen no matter what. Mal, how you doing, Mal? Mwah. Hello and welcome. Those dimples are the telltale sign for her. So keep an eye out for those. Hey, Cristola, it's fine. You're not prepared, my dear. No worries, my dear. You're always prepared. And it's okay for once in a while not to be. And her family, when she went missing, they involved the police right away. It wasn't days later, weeks later, because you know why? This is a girl who has a very close tie to her family. When her mom noticed she wasn't at the house, it's like, okay, this is not someone who's run away in the past, not someone who is dealing with a mental health issue or things like that. This needed reported immediately. And when she went missing, when she was last seen, she was wearing black Air Force shoes and a maroon puffer coat. She may have a gray and black Element book bag and teal Osprey bag. And then she may be with a male in his 20s to 30s. I'm going to say 30s from everything I'm hearing, it sounds like, with dark, dark brown hair, almost black hair. We will share information on if you have any information. There's the phone number here. There is also a family tip line, which is findellajones@gmail.com. So please, if you have any information, okay, and like I said, just because you don't live in Washington doesn't mean you don't have a chance to actually potentially have information or see her, because we don't know where she is right now. And so moving on to there, as I mentioned initially, and let me actually go here so you guys can keep some pictures here. As I mentioned initially, yes, Seal, they have been, and guys, her mom has been busting her butt. Her mom, I don't, Sleuth, you remember when we did our technology stuff and everything? She's doing everything that we were saying people should have done. I mean, being the parent of a teenager is not always easy. And it sounds like she has an amazing relationship there. Okay. It just really, really a great group of people. And so her mom had said, and the reason why, like I said, she got the phone. Okay. She woke up in the morning, noticed her daughter wasn't there, and we will go into that. However, the reason why the call happened so quickly to the police, to 911, was because, as her mom said, quote, she has never done anything like this before, and it's completely unlike her and out of character. Everyone who knows her is extremely concerned about her well-being. Something is really wrong. I don't think she can call me. She has never run away. We are very close. There was also not like a fight and I hate you, mom, and I'm going to run away kind of situation. That's according to her mom. And that's the reason why this became so important to everyone. Hey, 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 Thea. Hello, my dear. And I got to catch her next. Thea, hey, if you guys need a nice little paranormal, okay, time, head over. Oh, Thea's so much fun. But she knew something was okay. Those of you who are moms, dads in chat, you know when something's wrong. This is the case of a young woman whose mom is like, she would call me. Even if it's just to call and say, hey, mom, I'm safe. She would do that. Her mom truly has this feeling that her daughter doesn't even have the ability to call her right now. And that's worrisome. And Mel, thanks for becoming a member. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you. Aloha. The dogs will say hi when someone is not chewing. No, someone wants her chewy. Dogs will say hi to you in a bit. But thank you, my dear. Love you. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And so this story started on January 4th, Friday night. Sarah, her mom, okay, Ella, and her 8-year-old brother were just having a normal, everyday type of evening. Okay, it was the end of the work week. It'd been a long, long work week. Yep, you were in renewal time. YouTube's been playing games with renewals first. And yes, Thea, gut instincts parents have when it comes to their kids are always spot on. Okay, yeah, totally. So it's just something's up here and mom knows it. They went that night, they had dinner. They ate dinner together. They hung out for a little while. And then after the 8-year-old went to sleep, mom was really tired. It had been a long, long work week. So around 9 o'clock, she decided to go to sleep. Ella went to her mom's room right around 9ish, somewhere right around there, and jumped into her mom's bed and laid there and talked with mom for a few minutes. That's the type of relationship they had. And so there, you can say hi to everyone. Yes, Wrigley. That's the relationship they had. Lay in bed, okay, talk story, things like that. And mom was getting tired and all. So she says, I'm going to sleep. And Ella kind of goes over to her, gives her a hug, kiss, and says, good night. Okay, I'll see you. Okay, good night. And all that. Mom didn't feel anything different. Okay, everything was normal. There wasn't any weird feeling like something was going to happen overnight or anything like that. Everyone went to sleep. Next morning, okay, Sarah wakes up and like most kid on a Saturday morning, you got kids, you're going to be the first one up. The kids, unless they're really, really young and want to watch cartoons or something, okay, you wake up like Sarah did, started getting things ready, making breakfast, okay, omelets, things like that for breakfast. Um, had some coffee, was relaxing, and then at around 11 o'clock, something in her was like, it's quiet. This house seems quiet, quieter than it should be at 11 o'clock on a Saturday. She is definitely gorgeous. She's so pretty. So, so pretty. Yes, I agree. I agree. And between 11, 11:30, sometime during then, okay, she was like, you know what? I'm going to go check on everyone. Okay, make sure everyone's okay. Make sure that Ella is just check in. You know, mom wants to make sure everything's thing. So she goes over, knocks on the door, opens up the door, looks in. There's no Ella. Her bed is unmade. Okay, but that's nothing totally abnormal. Okay, a lot of teenagers will skip making their bed if they have a chance. And also, that wasn't really saying anything one way or another. Um, but her daughter's not there. Her 14-year-old is missing out of there. So she immediately, okay, runs to the other room, looking around as she's running around, just make sure, okay, yelling out her daughter's name, things like that, trying to find out, okay, is she around here somewhere? And all that does look like Peach, Cristola. Oh my gosh, it does look like Peach. You're right. And Peach is one of our friends, for those of you who don't know. And she picks up her phone, okay, and she dials her other daughter. And she gets on her phone just because she's like, oh my God, what do I do? Okay, maybe she's heard from things, whatever. So she calls her daughter first. And that call lasted 30 seconds, maybe. It was more like, what do I do type thing, that panic when you're not quite thinking correctly. And you're just like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And you stumble for 30 seconds or so. So as soon as she hangs up, she calls 911 right away. No running around, no looking around or anything. She's just like, no, something's wrong. Okay, which speaks more to the fact that this was not someone that she would think that her daughter would run off or do things. Okay, some parents, they know their child and their child may have gone out overnight or something and they know, oh, we'll give it an hour or so. We'll call some friends or whatever. Not in this case. She was like, no, something's up here. So she calls 911 immediately after that. And she talks with the police, and the police are like, okay, well, do you want to get an attempt to obtain so we can get some stuff going on that? Do you want to file a missing persons report? She's like, yes, yes, yes. And so they start the missing persons report at that point. Mind of Monsters, how you doing, my dear? You know, when I came across it, okay, this needs to be out further because this girl is somewhere out there. Someone is seeing her, and we just haven't found the right person yet. So thank you on Twitter. Twitter, okay, TikTok. I know her mom's on TikTok covering her, trying to cover her everywhere on all the different platforms. And I will share more posters that are more social media friendly. I'll share those on my community tab after this live. And actually, they are this one here, and then also a little larger thumbnail size. And so as they're filing the report and mom's trying to figure out, what do I do? Okay, where do I start? She starts looking around to kind of get a better idea of what's happening. Okay, is anything not right? Is anything looking out of place? All of those types of things. And she notices a couple things. Okay, first of all, her bedroom, Ella's bedroom, is on the ground floor. Okay, she has a window on her ground, okay, in her bedroom. As she looks at that window, she finds out that the window is closed, but it's unlocked. So someone could have easily opened it up and then closed it back. She also remembers she has, hey, how you doing, JP? Hey, hey, hey. Love you, girl. Love you guys. Sorry. Too many girls in here, and I just start yelling out that gender. Sorry about that, my dear. And hope you're having a good day. Um, the next thing she starts thinking about is one of the things we always think about: cameras. Are there any cameras? They have 2 cameras at their house set up, Ring cameras that they can go check out. One is at the front door and the other is at the back door. So she goes checking those cameras and surprised to find the one at the back door has actually been tipped upwards. So rather than being aimed the way it's always aimed, it's now up. So it could not catch anything that happened. So huge, huge red flag at that point. I mean, someone did not want to catch something on that camera, pretty much. And so between those 2 things, she's getting more and more concerned. So she starts hitting and going around to different areas. Okay, calling different people, calling friends. At 12:15. Okay, and remember, she found out her daughter was missing between 11 and 11:30. Okay, at 12:15, she contacts Kimberly Fearley. Kim is actually Ella's godmother, to try to get them involved. Okay, what's going on? Have you heard anything? Has she talked to you about anything else? I need help. I need to start trying to look for her. We got the police involved, but now I need to get out there and start looking for my daughter. So they also notice that she left the house with a lot of supplies. Okay, enough supplies to fill 2 to 3 bags. She took clothes with her. She took a blow dryer with her mom's flat iron, her crochet stuff. I guess she crochets. And she took her crochet stuff with her. So you're definitely starting to see more and more of a picture of a teenager who has, quote unquote, I hate this word, but run away, because unfortunately, once you're dealing with that, people tend to kind of just say, oh, yeah, whatever, it's a runaway. Well, we find out very soon that this is not just a normal runaway, as if there is such a thing as a normal runaway, that there was someone else involved in this. She also finds, and we'll talk about it a little later, there was a note left, a kind of note that didn't really sound like her daughter. It just, again, as a mom, you know your daughter or your son and how they sound and things like that. And this did not sound like her daughter. It sounded like almost like someone else's words, but written by her. And also just off. Okay. And that's what leads us to that next point. She decides, I need to go out looking for her. Okay. There's enough stuff with the letter and the packages and stuff like that. Okay. Everything she took with her to know that she most likely could have left, quote unquote, on her own volition, I guess. So she starts contacting, while people are looking around for her and all, she starts contacting Ella's friends, visiting Ella's friends, going to their houses, talking on the phones, trying to find out what could be happening here. She's got some fears. Okay. She knows that Ella had some communication at one point with an older gentleman online. She didn't think it was still going on because she had dealt with it. At one point, she had found out that Ella had put in and had searched up a couple of the different websites that teenagers will use to talk to people. And because of that, this was back in December, she found while checking her daughter's history, and she checked everything. She had parental accesses set up. She had actually set things up where her daughter could not, okay, access the App Store or even Safari. Okay. And things were, she knew from that time back in December, because she had gone into the computers and looked at her daughter's history and found that her daughter had actually searched for Text Now. Now, Text Now is another one of those apps like Omegle and, okay, these areas that kids are connected to other people to talk to. And when she found out about this back in December, mom went to the school, because what she noticed very quickly is she had really put all the controls on that side, the home side. But the school side is where she most likely was using stuff. She was most likely going on to things such as Omegle, okay, Discord, all these locations that were shut down at home. That's where she was using them, was at school. So she had gone into the school and said, hey, I need your help with this. Is there a way we can shut down some of these things so that kids don't have access to these different sites there? I'm noticing this and I'm very concerned now. And the other thing she did that, yep, I hate iPhones for that reason. It's so hard to completely lock them down. Yeah, it really, I mean, and so much has changed even since last year when we did our technology and internet safety lives. So much has changed. Um, so basically, she had found, once she found that, she talked to the school. The other side of what she did in December was she took Ella's phone, not permanently. It was part of a punishment type thing. Okay. Okay. Grounding. You're grounded from your phone for, I don't know how long it was, but that's what the decision was at that time. But based off of that, when she discovered Ella was missing, that's probably the first thing that came to her mind, I would think. In all honesty, honestly, yeah, it would be amazing if there was a way to do things, rather than just make things safe. And there are some options out there to make things safe. And we are going to kind of go over some of those things as we go through this today, because to me, it's not right to just talk about this if we can't protect our own children and the kids that we care about and love. And as she started talking to Ella's friends, okay, other people, no problem, Christola. Get some rest, my dear. And thank you for the belated birthday, my dear. Love you. Go get some rest. And um, the one thing she started noticing the more she talked to friends was almost every one of her friends kept mentioning that Ella was still talking with a guy, one guy, not different people or anything like this. She had created a relationship, which when Ella's mom took the phone away and all that, she did not realize that there was this close of a relationship that had been built. She didn't know that at that time. All she knew is that Text Now was showing up in her history. And but her friends started telling her mom that they had noticed she had been initially talking to this guy on Omegle. Okay, many of you guys know during COVID lockdown, Omegle became very, very popular. For those of you who don't know what Omegle is, it's basically a roulette game. Okay, you're like, I want to talk to someone privately. So you hit a button and it connects one person. You say, I want to talk to a girl, a guy, whatever. And it connects you with that other person and puts you in a private room where you talk. Problem is, as we all know, people are not always who they say they are. And then sometimes they are. Okay, from everything the friends knew, everyone kind of thought this guy was in his 20s. Okay, Omegle is terrible. Yep, Omegle, which by the way, I did not know this. November, Omegle was shut down. They closed. The problem is there are other copycat apps that have been developed. Now you have Chat Random, YouNow, Monkey, Tiny Chat, Chat Roulette, Text Now. There's a bunch of copycat Omegle apps. Chat Roulette alone is exactly, it's a roulette game. I'll throw you in with someone else in a private chat room. And that's where you got these people who are not there for good reasons. Okay. They may not even be who they look like. We've seen what happens to AI and say Taylor Swift or something like that. Well, these are things that are happening to our kids. They're talking with someone thinking it's this one guy who looks 18 years old, okay, blonde hair, blue eyes, or black hair, green eyes, or whatever. And no, it's some 40, 50, 60-year-old, okay, that is bald. Okay, but no one knows these things. They only see what they're seeing. And especially at that age, you take it as truth. And I am going to say real quickly, so I don't forget it, there are some options that are safer options. Okay, they're not safe, nothing's safe 100%, but Childline, Ditch the Label are two safer options that have a little bit more moderation and stuff like that going on. It's kind of what we were talking about during the internet safety lives that we did, that you just try to give the safest options as you can and hope your children will remember these things. It's crazy how many apps there are, and the ones that give your location, and many of these do. Because the idea is they're set up for people in their 20s, 30s, etc., to connect. And I'm sorry, that's even dangerous on 20, 30-year-olds because you don't know who you're connecting with, in all honesty. And so as she's talking with these friends, they're saying, yeah, no, this is a close relationship. Ella had developed a relationship with this guy. This guy was seen talking with her, chatting at times, but they had also seen him and her talking on video, on Snapchat, in Discord. Once Omegle was shut down, they moved the discussion over to Discord. And you guys, 90% of us hang out in Discords at times. Okay, and we know exactly Discord's not much safer at times. Okay. Ella's mom then tried to take it the next step. How much information could we get on what was going on? Because I will be honest with you. Yes, the police were involved, but it took quite a while for the police to actively start doing things like warrants and trying to get information from these computer companies and stuff like that. But certain things did start coming out. A number of the kids started using the name Keith. That this guy was called Keith, and a lot of people were talking to. Okay, she was talking to Keith. Now, is Keith his real name? Most likely not. Most likely not. But that's what the name was called. They were also saying that they saw a guy who, on the videos or profile pics or whatever, he had a heavier set face, a chin strap beard, short but puffy hair that was very, very dark brown, almost black in color. One person also said they thought he was wearing like a chain, and he had a really, really nice watch, like a Rolex watch on. Okay, and he was vaping on screen. But again, is that really who he is? Or if we all start looking for someone who looks like that, could we be looking for someone who was AI generated? Or a Google photo that someone imported in? Went through that process of how easy it is to pull up a picture and have that picture talk. Could look like that. It may not. We don't know. The one person we know what they look like and how they look like is this gorgeous young woman on the screen right now. Okay. Friends did say they have been talking for months. Definitely back to October. Okay, could have been even further back than that. This was a long game discussion. Okay, they're saying in his 20s to 30s. My suspicion is probably if he was saying he was in his 20s, it's got to be 30s, if not even older. Okay, it's like I've told people before, and people will tell me, you don't look like you're 53. Yeah, no. many of us do not look our age anymore, and we look younger. And so these are things that need to be kept in the back of our minds. Um, and again, the name Keith. A lot of people had gotten very concerned, friends and all who were talking. Unfortunately, no one ever reported it. It's kind of the thing that you don't want your friend to get in trouble. So you kind of, especially as a teenager, we all did this. Okay, we talk to our friends and we'll go to the friends maybe and tell a friend, hey, you know what, that might not be the best thing. Or we talk to other friends. I guess in this case, a lot of the guy friends in the circle were talking to each other saying, this is not right. This is not, something's off here. Okay, and they were very concerned. And when you've got a group of your guy friends concerned, this was giving people vibes across the board. And as we get older, we learn to trust that gut. But as we're younger, we don't quite understand that gut feel. And um, so in recognizing that, okay, mom discovered it's going to be extremely, hey, in the bushes, how you doing, my dear? No problem. She realized how important the electronics are. Okay, the electronics in this case were going to be extremely, extremely important. Um, they needed to get into the accounts. They needed to find out if they could track people or things like that. They went to the police and said, we need to get you guys have much more capability than us to look up all this information. You've got tech experts, things like that. You could get warrants to go to Discord and try to get information released and stuff like that. Unfortunately, from what I found, it took about 10 days until 10 days after her disappearance before police took her school computer and her phone and started digging. Um, I don't know what the reason is for that. I don't know. I don't know what, if you guys have any thoughts in chat. Did they think maybe this is a runaway type thing and they just didn't, I don't know. The other thing that kind of took a little longer than I'm comfortable with is they did put out warrants asking the different computer companies to release information, but that did not happen, even though the family asked for it at day 4, till almost 2 weeks later. So all that has been requested now. So hopefully things will start moving quicker now because there is a young girl at risk here right now. And we don't know what the thought, honestly, guys, we don't know. It could be just an honest like relationship where they're together and there's nothing really bad except we just want to be together. It could be something much more hideous, okay, where it's like, okay, I get this girl to come join me and then I can get into trafficking or things like that. I hate to say those things, but that's exactly what can happen. Okay, they promise them jobs, they promise them all these different things. And then when they get away from the security of their family, they can't get away after that. They can't get back to their family. They do. They treat runaways differently, and it's rough because many of these runaways are in more danger than, to be honest, a lot of the other cases that we see happening. Okay, not to put one above the other or anything, but we know runaways are in super high danger. And also, when they do treat them differently, puts them at higher risk. And also, mom decided it was taking forever and ever and ever. Yep. Yep. Like the poor girl from the Mavericks. Yeah. And it was taking forever to get the phones and stuff like that. Mom did not want to sit on that. So she started sitting down at her computer, okay, her daughter's computer, on her daughter's phone, and started to try to break her way into every single account. Okay, tried to guess every single password. Well, some of them were easy because, like I said, she had locked a lot of this stuff down. She knew certain passwords and all that. So, in a lot of the cases, she had no problems because she knew, say, for example, I'm making up apps now, but Facebook or whatever she had allowed, she knew all that stuff. But there was a handful of apps that were a different password. and she did not know this password. The thought was those are probably the apps where she was talking with this guy, and God knows what else. And so she kind of went through these things, started gathering more and more information, um, so that she could act on as much of it as possible. So, yeah, Chris, a lot of companies are, because there is privacy. Privacy is a real thing. They have to have warrants in place and all to get this. And once they're received, they actually take a while to get all the information to be released. Lawyers have to look at all these things. Then you got to go into the computers and find all the information, and then it's sent over, and it doesn't happen right away. And so it's just really rough there. So I mentioned to you the next thing that was important in this, and that was the note. Okay. When they went into the room, found that she was not there. And actually, let me, before we go on to the note, just show you guys these pictures. That was her, and the one in the middle, okay, has her brother in there. And I did want to block out his face and all that, but you could see just a normal girl who goes out, has fun with family, friends, things like that. And that's why this one is so scary, is because mom's done everything. That it's a close relationship. It's not like there were huge fights or things going on. And there truly was luring going on. Okay. And we're going to see that with the note in my eyes. And so here's some other pictures and all. Okay. Her being a normal teenager, and her and her pup and all that. And then I think something tells me up on the Space Needle, but I may be wrong on that. I've been up there, and you can kind of see the picture there where she's standing. You can see where you're looking down below. So the note was found. And this note, okay, any note you're going to get is going to be scary when your loved one has left. But this one felt off from the get go. It was her handwriting, but the handwriting was really, really overtly neat, uncharacteristically neat. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I have different handwritings. I have some that no one would know how to read. And then in certain things, especially if okay, in certain cases, I get very, very neat and nice. That's kind of what this was. Very, very neat. There were some things said in there. Um, she said she loved her mom and she didn't want to hurt her anymore. That's worrisome, because she had never hurt her mom before. Her mom hadn't talked about how she was hurting her or anything. That was a feeling that Ella had, or someone told her to have and talked her into having. And this is how luring actually happens. This is how this type of thing works. She also said, I promise I'll come home one day. She also gave specific details of things to tell her 8-year-old brother to remember her by, telling her, hey, okay, I don't know the specifics, but hey, maybe something such as, oh, yeah, remind so and so about the day that we went to the park and did this. There's ways to remember her. So, very, very scary when you're seeing things like this. One thing saying, I'll come home one day. The next thing, these are ways my brother can remember me. She had no mental health issues or anything like that, though, either. According to her godmother, okay, Kimberly Fearley. Kimberly is the one that her mom contacted at about 12:15, 12:30, the day that she went missing, 12:15, the day she went missing. Um, Her godmother said it does not read like a normal runaway letter. We all know a normal runaway letter is something kind of like, oh, you know what, I'm tired of this. Okay, either I'm tired of it on an anger level, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of being overlooked, I'm going somewhere else where I don't have to deal with all this crap anymore, things like that. Or, okay, something more along the idea of I'm not wanted, I'm not loved, things like that. We all know those kind of stereotypical, okay, runaway letters. This did not have that feeling. Yes, Chris, it's very, very possible that the guy's name was not even Keith. In fact, I'd say more than likely not. And yeah, Ring is going to require warrants like crazy for anything. Ring has stepped forward, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what Ring is doing to kind of help with this situation, also, though, that I was really impressed with. Um, According to Kimberly, she said it does read very similar to maybe a kid that was being groomed or convinced that they could be offered something else, or convinced that maybe they are a problem for people that they never previously believed they were a problem for prior to that. And that's what I'm kind of getting at here. This idea that a groomer oftentimes will sit there and make the person they're talking to feel like they aren't loved, like they are a burden to other people. Okay, they're trying to do everything to create that divide between that child, okay, teenager, child, whatever, and the rest of the family. Um, and that's kind of what her godmother is saying it felt like. Okay, and when you look at comments like that, okay, I didn't want to hurt the family anymore. Okay, that's kind of what I can see that truly being something in this letter. And scarier, because the fact is, when she's found, and she will be found, her mom's going to make sure of that. Okay, her aunties and uncles, her family, okay, all the people who are passing out her story and letting people see her picture are going to make sure she's found someday. And, but when you have someone who's sitting there making you feel like no one cares about you, that's a lot of healing that has to be done afterwards. Okay. And rebuilding that sense of trust and that feeling even of self worth. And that's why the grooming and the predators and things like that scare me so much, because it's not just, we tend to think on the more, okay, essay level, things like that, and but it's also this messing up of a child's sense of self-worth and trust and all those things also. So the letter is an option thing out there. Now, I mentioned to everyone about the Ring app. um a lot of people have been looking at the apps trying to find out, okay, they went around to the neighbors, did anyone else have video of Ella walking away? Unfortunately, most families and their Ring app, and I had never thought of this before, and it does make sense, we aim our cameras so as not to invade on the privacy of our neighbors. Okay. And how many times we talk about, for example, okay, have we pulled all the Ring camera footage of neighbors and all that? But it does make sense. When you set your camera footage and stuff like that, you don't want to invade on your okay, next door neighbor's privacy. So you aim it just at a certain way where you're not doing those things. And that unfortunately is what happened in this case. There was no Ring camera footage showing anything of Ella leaving the house. We know she left the house. We don't have a car showing where she got into the car or anything like that. Now, one thing that I did not know about, and I was really impressed to hear about in this case, the Ring app, the as a company, has partnered with NCMEC, the National Center on Missing Endangered Children. Um, and they're using the app, that Ring neighborhood app portion of the thing. If those of you who have Ring cameras, you know, you can go to a certain part of the app and find out, people are like, oh, have you seen this guy running around? Have you done, okay, this person is trying to break into cars, keep an eye out for that and all. Well, they've created this relationship with NCMEC to get the word out about missing children. So if you have Ring, for example, and a child goes missing in your neighborhood, there is a chance that they will be covering that and pushing out alerts through their app. And that's exactly what they've done with Ella. they are featuring Ella on the app so that they can get more people to see her and recognize her. The other thing that is going on is the family. Yes, the police are involved and the police are working. They are working this case. Okay, it took a little while to get started on it, but they are working the case. But the family truly, when you're a family, it takes a while to get updates on cases. We hear this all the time. Police are busy. They're overwhelmed. We know that. Okay. And getting information, it's hard enough for them to find time to investigate, much less do communication back and forth and stuff at times. So the family is trying to hire a private investigator. Um, and in this case, they started up a GoFundMe specifically for that. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can share that with you guys real quickly. Here we go. I'm going to share it with you guys. This GoFundMe, as you know, I only share a GoFundMe when I can verify it is the family who is talking about it, and this has been verified. They are trying to hire a PI to help out with additional information here. Okay, what's Mind a Monster saying? Doing what I do, we have 6 outside cameras, an 11-year-old in a fenced-in driveway with motion lights every 8 feet. Hey, I like that one. Hey, we actually, for our house, we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras for our house outside. And it's, yeah, it's my mom is massively paranoid. Anytime she hears, okay, the dogs bark, she checks them. Is someone at the front door? Is someone outside? Is I'm like, oh my gosh. Talk about, yeah, mom goes crazy with it. But so if you find yourself open to donating a little bit towards them to help them with finding that PI, because honestly, I don't know if the FBI is involved in this case yet. I have not been able to verify that. Um, I think, especially with the case, that this could be connected to a groomer, um, and state lines, regions, all that. I think it would have been a great suggestion, but I don't know if they have or not. Um, and that's why the PI is even more important at this case. Fireball Investigates will help for free. Send us some information. We have to see a lot of that. Oh, yes, yes. The rabbit holes are real, gang. The rabbit holes are, oh my gosh, my dog. They are real. And now her mom said one thing, and I'm kind of going to start pulling this to an end in the next couple minutes and all, but oh my gosh, my dogs. And mom had a comment that I came across, and it honestly says so much because we talk about all the time those of us who are trying, whose heart is with advocacy for the missing and stuff like that. We feel close to these families, okay, to these teenagers, to the children, to the elderly who go missing. And you do get that connection going on. Mom had said at one point, hey, Princess Megan, how you doing, my dear? Mwah. How you doing? Sorry if you guys hear the dogs barking. Hopefully Crisp is working. And mom said, I will say that there is an army of people that are filled with an extreme amount of rage. Ella has bonus uncles. Ella has bonus dads. She has bonus aunts and moms and everything else. That's what all of us are. Okay. We're all there to make sure someone's been heard. Okay. We have empathy. Yeah. That's a great way to put it right there, Sleuth, right there. And we realize that there are a lot of really bad individuals out there, and they're continuing to victimize girls, and none of us are going to stop. I am going to go further and say, because we unfortunately know this is true, they also victimize boys. All of us have heard of a story or 2 or 3 or 4 where boys have been victimized in these cases too. A lot of times we seem to think just the girl side, but it is happening to all of our children. And they're okay, and none of us are going to stop. We're going to find out who she went with. We're going to find out where she went, and maybe we'll be lucky enough to rescue some other girls along the way because we feel like the authorities' hands are tied in a lot of things here. But the families are here and we're passionate and we're not going to slow down. And I think that approach, guys, we hear so many times where families get so frustrated at everything that it builds into anger at law enforcement or whatever. And, law enforcement, we all know, you guys know I support law enforcement in everything because I know how much hard work that they do. But they hit it on the head there. So many times, law enforcement has their hands tied. Okay, you run into something where a 22-year-old goes missing and their hands are tied because it's like, well, they have the right to privacy. Okay, or they can't cross this line or they can't cross that line. While they maybe in their hearts, as law enforcement, they're like, I want to do this, but I can't do this. And it seems like mom understands that. And that's why you get the PIs. That's why you pull a community together that can try to get the word out as much as possible. And in doing that, they do have options. It's not just the police phone number, they do have a family tip line. And I do remember reading something where if a tip comes in, they follow it up right away. Someone called in a tip that she was in the Seattle area, that they had seen her in the Seattle area. So mom and all jumped in their car and they went up to Seattle and started posting posters. There was a candlelight vigil just recently. And also, people are not going to forget. Uh, Mind of Monsters facts. I heard her case from Care. Okay. And shared and commented because of one of my cases, women missing from Washington state. We are the voice for the voice. And that's, yeah. And that's one reason why I always, the poster that I have, okay, talks about actually, okay, right here. No, it's on the first one, not this one. This one right here. Together we can be their voice. Because when someone disappears, their actual voice may be silenced by whoever takes them at that time. But they've got such a loud voice with all of us who are going to be that voice. Okay, they're going to be louder than they've ever been before because people are not going to shut up and people are going to continue sharing pictures and we're going to continue making sure people know that that person needs help. And also, and that's going to happen in this case. So if anyone does have any information, please contact the police. The number's on the poster, but also the family tip line. Find Ella Jones at gmail.com. And again, Ella's been missing for 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks too long. It's time for her face and her name to be everywhere. All of the different platforms are covered. We have Twitter here, thanks to Mind of Monsters. We've got TikTok, thanks to her mother. We've got Facebook, thanks to the Facebook group that's there. Okay, it is everywhere. She is everywhere, but we need to increase her face where people see it. So I'm going to share, we do have the regular posters and all that, but I have created these two, which I will share out on Discord and, well, Discord, Facebook, and my community tab. Like I said, this one is more thumbnail size. The other one, the square one, is perfect for Instagram size types of things because you all the information is easy to find, nice and easy. Sorry, they see my mom coming over. And so again, Ella Celeste Jones was last seen January 5th in Mount Vernon, Washington. 14-year-old, 5'5", 125 pounds with brown eyes, brown hair. She's got very distinct facial dimples and was last seen wearing black Air Force shoes and a maroon puffer coat. Guys, it's cold. So that coat, I'm happy she has that coat. She has a lot of other things with her. So other outfits, things like that. She may be with a male in his 30s with dark brown, almost black hair. Again, call the police at 360-428-3211. Call 911. Send an email to findellajones@gmail.com. But help us in getting these words out about her. So I think Sleuth and I will be back this week. We keep promising each other that we're going to make this happen. We got to get back to our lives, so we will be back. I also have another case that I'm kind of looking at that's happened locally here that is not a missing person case, but it's a true crime case that I may share here. I'm trying to pull information on it right now. So I may try to do an extra live sometime this week to share that. So, and yep, KK said hair can be cut, it can be dyed. And so look for the things that are easily recognizable. Okay, look for things like those dimples. And if Ella comes across this, she is loved. Her family, the dedication, the love that I've seen come from her family on this case shows just how much she's loved. And send a message. I'm really hoping she can get a message out to her family and let them know what's going on. It scares me to death to know that there's a chance that she may not be able to make those phone calls. Okay, she may be in a situation where she does not have access to a phone or a computer. And those are the cases where it's going to come down to us, gang. It's got to come down to us. So thank y'all so much. I will see y'all on Wednesday. Stay warm if you're on the mainland. Start preparing for your Super Bowl parties for this week. Yeah. And I will talk to you later. Cassie is saying hi. She's been scratching my legs. Say hi to everyone. Say hi to all of the awesome people, to all the new members. Click and go to everyone. Mal, everyone. Oh, I get kisses. Love y'all tons. Talk to you later. Bye bye. Aloha. Goodbye. And talk soon. Love ya. Bye bye.